a Times article.
Yes, Namjoon was in the New York Times. King, first
My
of all.
boy.
He in the article he was mostly talking about like art and the influence that he has about art specifically. So it was a really like sweet article. It's so cool. Like we talked about this when he was doing his like vlog about wanting to go to museums and then like having this like big thing of like army going to museums and like showing up and like appreciating art and his like feelings about it. It's like it's a cool
Kind of
thing.
helps revitalizing, like, going to museum.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a big
Like
deal.
it's a big deal. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like we, especially because like we make like a whole thing out of it. Like the definition of namjooning sort of
Yeah.
like has grown from his like adventures of like bike riding and going outdoors and going to
But also,
museums and
like, if
art.
if art museum isn't your thing, like, there's a bunch of different other museums you can go to. Like
It's
there's
true.
science museums, there's history museums.
So many
Like,
museums.
yeah, just go to a museum. It's really fun.
I would honestly love to go. Like, we got a taste of it in the vlog, but I would love to go to a museum with Namjoon and just like have him
Yeah.
talk art to me and like I don't know. It would just be such a cool like experience.
My, what's your favorite type of museum? Just.
Oh, I like a mixture between history and art. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
both of those things sort of appeal to me. Like when we went to New York City, we went to the Met and to MoMA, and I think the Met was probably my favorite just because it had that mixture between like ancient, like history pieces, but then also like the art that also comes with like
Mm-hmm.
being in that era.
Because history and art also can be like very closely related.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean like you think of like not just like pieces of artwork like paintings and things like that, but also like even architecture is like a form of art. It's
Yeah,
like
I'm just like, don't look at me with my art history classes.
true. I took quite a few, but it's cool because we get to see like a piece in time, and it's sort
Mm-hmm.
of like the art of the time, but also like a
The
historical piece.
also with like the evolution from it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because art has changed a lot over time, because a lot of it
Absolutely.
comes from the actual, like, social economic situation from
Mm-hmm.
where the person's been painting from, or where he's
Yeah.
like they're from to begin with.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a big part. Like, yes, emotion's a big part, but also just like the socio-economic situation has a big impact
Yeah.
on what an artist will most likely make,
It's
which is really
true. It's
interesting when
super
you think about
interesting.
it.
Yeah, and it's like art, is so like you said like influenced by the times that are happening around, and we're sort of building art pieces as a reflection of what's happening
Mm-hmm.
currently. And even back then, I feel like art is sort of this like umbrella topic of so many different things can be categorized as art.
Yeah.
And I feel like how we view art today is totally different to how like somebody in like ancient Greece, for example, would view like
Oh,
art.
absolutely.
And I find it fascinating, like we go from even like theatrical pieces of art,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just so like different, and like we have different
I mean,
views
that's
on
kind
how
of
we view
why
it.
art is usually, like, you call it the arts, it's plural, because you
Yeah,
have so many
so
different
many.
branches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like also things like I said, like architecture could be categorized as
Mm-hmm.
art because it's so different to what
I mean,
we're
at the end of the day, it is
building
something you
now.
are, I mean, it is in your environment, it's something that you're looking at. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, like, these people want to make it practical but also appealing. Like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be looking at something that's absolutely ugly for the rest of your days, you know? Because,
Yes,
like,
skylines matter.
uh, because, like, it's because you'll have people looking at it, and
Yeah.
then you'll have people like looking into like your thought process into making it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how your design came about and
Yeah.
why is it that way. Personally, I mean, I'm a fan of history in general.
Of
Like
course.
I've all like, I have this whole like family tree. I'm really like into genealogy, but I also have like a really strong thing for science museums.
Oh, I love science museums.
It's
like,
so fun.
It's fun. I also really love, like, in Alberta we have the Royal Tyrrell Museum, because we have what are known as the Badlands here. So we have a lot of dinosaur fossils and populations
Ooh,
that
I
used to
didn't know
live
that
here.
actually.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So we have an entire museum dedicated to all of the finds in Alberta, which are a lot. Like, we have
That's
a
really
lot.
cool because
Yeah.
I'm like from around Montreal, and so like going to Montreal was really accessible. And
totally.
we have like this whole like art districts, and when you go into like
Yes.
old Montreal, you'll also have like a lot of history museum, and then you have the StopAsianHate. That's on the port as well, and they always had like super interesting things. I mean, they have like their permanent exposition, like most.
Of course, yeah.
But I've been to like with some of my classes because I took in like a ancient civilization course back in college, and we got to go like on our own time. We had to go and visit this I think it was about the Egyptians.
Oh,
it was so interesting and so fun. Like I think I stayed there for almost 3 hours, and it was like not a huge like exposition. It was pretty like it was medium. It was like a good size, but I was just like, that was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah,
and then I remember like at the Zombie when I was younger, they had the whole like Star Wars identity.
Oh yeah.
Exposition.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and then I made my character. And so that's another thing with science museum. They can also go into like
pop culture.
Pop cultures and like these history that were obviously made up, but it's also like really, really interesting.
Yeah, I
still have my character too.
I think like some of the funner. My dad and I actually went. There was like a Harry Potter exhibition in Edmonton at the TELUS World of Science there.
Ooh.
And they brought like a bunch of like costumes and a bunch of like props and set pieces. So we got to like go through that, and then like visiting the TELUS Center in general. Like there's some cool like body exhibits. I've never been to the Body World exhibit, which is like it's an exhibit that's based on the human body and not just
is that the one
body.
where you can like see inside of the human? Okay.
Yeah. That's the one. I haven't been to it yet.
That's like, because you have to understand, like, for people who don't know, that type of exhibit is solely based on people donating their body to science.
Yeah.
Because those are real bodies.
They're real. Yeah, they're real.
It's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, I haven't been to one.
I want to go. It sounds really interesting.
I feel like the Calgary Science Center will probably get it back, so I'd love to go and see it. But yeah,
so interesting.
Namjoon,
we just went on the whole tangent about
museums, and this is all based on like seriously, his influence is crazy to me. Like it's uncanny.
Yeah, like just even like one of the first time I came to visit Jacob, he was like, "Oh, like I'm taking you somewhere today," and he took me to one of the big museums here in Kansas City, and I was just like, "Oh my god, museum!"
Museums.
Like you don't need to stay super long either. Like even just like taking a walk around, just looking around can be super fun.
Yeah.
If you're not someone that wants to dedicate your whole day to it, like just like go take, like a lot of museums are free too.
That's true. Yeah. Or donation
just like,
or
and you just like go inside, like take a walk. It's good for you. And you look at pretty things and interesting things.
It's true. And there's so much like really it really like changes your mindset on a lot of things, and I think that's why I love the fact that Namjoon is so openly sharing art with us, because it makes you sort of like think and like stop and like question and like have an actual like conversation about it, and I love him for that.
I just love how also like what I'm trying to say is that you don't necessarily need to be like a fan of art.
No.
You can just go into that environment, take a walk, and just like
Enjoy.
absorb the piece.
Yeah.
Because museums are usually like pretty quiet places. So you just enjoy the piece, just relax. You don't need to like stop at everything and look at it for like 10 minutes. You don't have to do that.
No.
But I'm just like, do it.
Do it.
It's fun.
Just do it.
Like try it once. If you don't like it, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Museums, no.